Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final for the ESL NA Go for Coh2 Cup number 4. My name is the Machine of the General Gentleman, and joining me is Ciez.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm actually keen because this time around I've had a decent amount of sleep, right? Like, I'm actually feeling good. Normally by this stage I'm like, I'm so tired. But rather it's Momo who's the tired one this time. So it's cool having us three because now we can rotate around and keep things fresh.
Yeah, it's awesome. I got to take a nice long break, grab some dinner. I think Momo's probably going to be grabbing dinner about now as well. I know he told me a little while ago he was already getting pretty hungry.
Yeah.
And we're at the grand finals of NA, and I saw Space Hamster get knocked out a little bit earlier. I was a little bit sad to see him go. He had become kind of like one of my favorite guys because he was so new and like upcoming. It's always nice to see new faces, succeed. But it's nice to see also Shadow succeeding. I know he's been working really hard on his 1v1s recently, and it seems like it's really been paying off for him in this tournament today.
Yeah, certainly. He's actually a player that we've followed a fair bit in the ESL Cups, but hasn't quite made it to the Grand Finals. Paul has been before. He was the runner-up in the first week. I can't exactly remember for the second and third, but Paul has been in the finals, but hasn't actually taken a win. So for him, this is finally his chance to actually take one of the NA Cups, which will be a bit of a drive for him. Same with Shadowwada. It's a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of moments that top players live for. You know, getting to the grand finals, finally achieving what you've been going after and practicing hard for so many weeks. And I guess I can say for so many weeks at this point. This is our 4th week, and so
yeah,
after this is our monthly invitational cup, right?
That's right. Yeah, there will be the top 8 players to face off. There'll be a bit more money up for grabs as well. Even second place actually gets some cash. So pretty exciting stuff. And we see Paul's gone for a pretty early sniper. Pretty standard though, given this map and matchup. It is very effective against US.
No, especially on a map as open as this. It's going to be hard even for the M20 to get in on the sniper. There's so many possible teller spots, and there's so many areas for the sniper to hide.
Yep, just a little note as well. Be sure to leave a comment in in the chat if I do need to lower or decrease the volume of Ciez or myself or the game sounds. Haven't quite adjusted to having Ciez in so far. Already a bit of manpower bleed on the snipers on the rifleman does force them away. And another Gren coming out.
Yeah, I think he's going to want all of these Grens to protect his sniper from a potential early M20. And he'll probably pick up an MG, I would think, to help protect his cutoff and just the southern area of the map here.
Yeah, especially against US. If it was against Soviets, then maybe getting a mortar would be a good choice if there's Maxims coming, or Vickers from Brits. But from US, the early mortar just isn't unnecessary.
Yeah, mortars, I mean, riflemen tend to not be very stationary, and mortars are only good, or only truly really good against stationary units. So,
yep.
Paul doing a really, really good job defending his cutoff, his half of the map. Shadow did make a pretty aggressive push for it there, but just ended up getting sniped down. He does hit a really, really nice lieutenant timing, though, and he has plenty of fuel to call in an M20. I think he's weighing in a little bit more manpower for it.
Yeah, still has enough fuel for an ambo as well, so does have a fair bit of options at his disposal. Doesn't even have that. Doesn't have any wounded squads, so the ambo wouldn't be an absolute necessity.
Yeah, it's the advantage of playing against sniper is that they just deal outright model kills and not actually damage to your squad. So
yeah, Paul's making a play for this cutoff. He's got 2 squads of Grens there. The lieutenant's moving in. The M20 will follow up pretty soon. Paul is taking up for his tier 2 now, but doesn't quite have the building or even pyos nearby, so there won't be a 2-2-2 in time for this M20.
Shadow doing a nice job pushing back his cutoff. He doesn't even actually end up cut off, and the M20 is hitting the field right now with
this Gren squad
in retreat.
It's taking a lot of damage. If he's lucky, he may even wipe it here, but the sniper's moving in. We'll get a model down of these riflemen. Grens are there for the support, but there's just more riflemen pouring in, even the LT as well. Doesn't actually get the VP, so he won't get the cutoff. Needs to get that VP for it to actually cut off the munitions and the fuel. but forcing all these Grens back. Not quite going to get any damage on the sniper. The M20... Oh, actually, we'll get taken it by a Faust. No Faust coming through from Paul.
This is where Shadow has to be a little bit careful here. He's doing a really good job of applying pressure. He needs to cap that cutoff so that Paul loses all of his resource income. And he has to be careful not to bleed too many models to the sniper. It's already almost vet 1. At 9 kills, once it gets vet 1, it's going to become just an absolute nightmare and be able to wipe so many of Shadow's squads on retreat.
Yeah, if anything now, though, Paul's taken a lot of manpower bleed from his Grens. Also, that little engagement there around that stone wall. He wasn't actually behind it. He wasn't in the cover bonus, so does take a fair bit of damage there. This Rifleman actually on this munitions point are getting pretty low against his Grens. He hasn't retreated it just yet. There's only 2 Grens there. He should be fine for now, though. Yeah, only 2 Grens. If that was a full squad, maybe could have been a wipe. But currently, the cutoff has been taken. Shadow's trying to prevent...
Down to 1 man. Paul's queuing up the... Yep, he got it.
Nice.
Snipe shot. Or the incendiary round. Shadow looks mad. He's going in with his M20. I don't think it's worth suiciding the M20, though.
Now, one thing that I always love seeing in Company of Heroes is really nice building placement. And this is what we see here from Paul. The Tier 1 and the Tier 2 are blocking off the M20. It's making it a lot harder for the M20 to actually dive in. But not only that, the barracks are also serving as a semi-forward reinforcement point. He's reinforcing while behind this sandbag with a stone wall.
Yeah, it's definitely very important, especially so that, like you were saying, the M20 can't just dive in here and kill a sniper, because if Wada wanted to, he could make that trade. It'll get eaten by Faust. And actually, a minute ago, while we were talking about the building placement, one of Paul's Grens died on the Muni point. Shadow picked it up with the M20, so a little bit of tit for tat there with a rifle down, but also a Gren down for Paul.
Scout cast hero as well. Now, one thing that's really interesting about Shadowwada is he's pretty much the only player that really makes use of the M15, or the AA half track M15, especially like because he normally goes the tactical support, but chooses not to go for the quad. He does have the munitions and the fuel and the command point. So oh wow, he hit an M20 mine.
I didn't even see that.
No, neither did I.
The M20 mine. That was that bait was so perfect too. Like he was just casually backing up, like, oh, maybe you can chase me, maybe you can't, and then all of a sudden, he just ripped 2-2-2.
And
that's a really big win for Shadow.
It's such an obvious mine spot, but I didn't see it. Neither did you. So it was just a little bit sneakier. The M20 was so aggressive that Paul probably thought that Shadow didn't have the time to plant a mine.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that he had time to, but somehow he snuck it in there. And the M20 has like 9 kills, I think, so it's 7 kills plus the mine, so it's pretty impressive that he did find the time to actually get that mine down.
So how do you feel about this M15 rather than the quad?
I tend to prefer the quad. The suppression and the mobility of the quad just seems to be a little bit superior. However, the quad does cost 120 munitions, whereas the M15, like, you get to save all your munis for more LMGs. So it might be more of like a long-term kind of plan, where as soon as I assume he's gonna pick the tactical support company. Like as soon as he wants to, he can just get, you know, an extra pair of LMGs.
Yeah, that's true.
As the quad.
Yeah, the M15, it's not as good for its mobility. You can't fire the main gun while moving, but if it's stationary now as a tool to deny that cutoff, it's going to perform very well.
Yeah, it does quite a bit of damage as well whenever it's firing the main gun while being stationary.
Oh, pack fires.
Takes a huge hit to the pack to the face, but of course has smoke. It's going to get out of there, repair itself up. Attack ground tries to catch it, but ultimately cannot.
Yeah.
And Shadow just brought a captain onto the field.
So at the moment, Shadow is looking fantastically. And for me, I don't think that Shadow should have gone for the captain, because he has such a massive lead in territory, in fuel, munitions, that when you're that far ahead, you can really just punish your opponent by going straight for a Sherman.
Yeah, he actually is opting for a Stuart right now, which I don't like that. As you were saying, a really fast Sherman can be devastating. Paul only has 1 pack right now, but the Stuart just doesn't have the raw killing power that a Sherman would. And Paul, like, he doesn't have a Puma or anything. He could call in a Puma in about 2 minutes if he wants to, but the Puma's kind of a good counter to the Stuart as it is, so whereas the Sherman tends to fare a lot better against the Puma.
This rifle squad's
really
going
hurt
way
that
too
sniper.
deep, but Paul actually a bit of a misplay there. He uses incendiary first rather than his sniper shot, so it means that the riflemen actually do dodge that sniper shot. The Grens will get the wipe in the end either way though, so Shadowwada's lost an important squad there because now he's below in squads. Paul is replacing... Well, Paul's actually going for a sniper. He went for a P-Gren squad, then cancelled it. And regarding the 3 vehicles, it's so hard to micro 3 light vehicles. There's such a massive micro sync. It's really hard to pull off even for the best players. And we've seen this before. Shadowwada has been in a similar situation with 3 light vehicles and then lost it due to miss micro. I think he really needs to just play it smart when he's this far ahead and go for a Sherman. I think maybe his reasoning is behind that is that if he doesn't go for a Stuart, then he's going to have a bit harder time against the Puma. So maybe that's why he's not going directly for Major. But even if he goes Captain and then Sherman without actually going for a Stuart.
Yeah, I still just like the going for the Sherman play. The HE shells are so strong, and it's a lot more resilient to pack fire. Like, I think if he had a Sherman, he could just do something like smoke the pack on the way in, circle strafe it, and just run down the snipers even. Because if he can get, ultimately, if he can get these 2 snipers off the map, even if he had to sacrifice a Sherman for it, he'd probably be, you know, in a really great spot. Just because he's so far ahead.
Yeah, look at this M15. We'll get out of the radius, it seems, the pack. Yeah, he won't lose that one. We are criticizing his build, but he is playing so well this game. He has everything apart from this munitions point, really. These 2 strat points are pretty much uncapturable. So Paul is so far contained in his base, but it looks like he
is going right for the snipers.
Yeah, not going for the killing blow in the end. The Puma's actually being called in as well. A second pack shot may come through. Oh, it misses the shot, actually, and the smoke came from the Puma because he got stunned by the Sherman.
Yeah, that smoke was a little bit awkward, I think. I don't know why Paul necessarily popped that.
Yeah, that was a bit strange because the Puma had no chance of dying because the pack was there anyway. And so this is kind of the best spot for Shadow to be at. Well, actually, I say that before he loses the M20. Looks like he may just destroy his M20.
Yeah, probably. That's what I would do.
Wait,
he went back into it? That's awkward. I thought he was going to be trying to attack the Puma with the bazooka to save the crew.
Yeah, I thought he was going to just like destroy the M20 and retreat. Because back to what I was saying earlier, where if you skip your captain tech and go immediately for a Sherman, you are a bit vulnerable to the Puma. But if you have the M20 bazooka crew, like you replace that with an echelon or the major, especially, and then you have a bazooka, you have the M15, you have a couple of AT grenades on the riflemen, so you do have enough AT to ward off a Puma, and then if that's the only threat, then you're going to be fine.
Yeah, the Puma is... It's very hard for a Puma in those sorts of situations to actually chase down a Sherman, so...
Yeah. So
going for a pack Howie, which... Probably a good call. He could maybe hope for some cheesy wipe on the sniper, although he'd have to damage it at least a little bit since the sniper does have 82 health.
Yeah, I think it's smart.
Still very good though, Shadows is, and he's getting closer and closer to a Calliope, which that might be part of his plan, right? If he just skips major and goes really heavy light vehicle play, he puts a lot of pressure on his opponent, and even if he loses the light vehicles, he gets VPs extremely fast.
CPs.
So then he gets the CPs really fast. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And we actually saw that in another game. I can't remember who it was. In you casted it with Momo. Is there was 3 light vehicles that just got thrown away, but then it gave the Calliope really fast timings because of the command points.
Yeah, I think that was the game this morning. Barton for Space Hamster.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was a good game.
The Puma ended up cleaning up 2 of them, but still.
Yeah. And so Shadow, he still has all his munitions. He's got 1 squad now, but that's only a single M19. So maybe a bit of a misclick there from Shadow, not actually going for the double M19s. But either way, so the problem with going for more riflemen is there's going to be more manpower bleed. Against these snipers, the riflemen aren't going to really achieve anything. So I think this pack house is pretty smart. They do get wiped pretty easily, though, if he's not behind any shot blockers. which on the
Especially
north
with
side of
sniper
Lungers is a
shooting
bit
it on
harder.
right.
Yeah, like that. He gets a model off. Backs away though. I think he's a bit scared of the M15 that was there.
You might just want to save munitions for recons for
Yeah.
Calliope targeting as well, because like you were saying, like LMG grens are really bad against snipers, so you have to stop to even shoot.
Yeah. So other than that, we do have Paul. He's almost at his 9 command points for his command P4. Not quite having enough fuel for it though. Paul's been really starved of fuel this game, so it's going to be a bit tricky. And
Shadow actually went major now. 2 CP away from Calliope, picks up the major. He does have a good amount of fuel.
Yeah, plenty
of
fuel.
I don't know that he could get... Ooh, he's going for an HE Sherman. I don't know that he could get a Sherman and then have a Calliope on time, but this Calliope, or this Sherman's probably a good call. Shame
yeah,
it
I
wasn't
think
a
it's
little
great.
sooner.
Especially, it's going to be able to hold like the pack howitzer. The snipers can't get anywhere near the Sherman. It's going to be able to hold the middle VP in the meantime. I like that. And like even
Puma
if
moving
you...
up really aggressively.
Well, he stuns the Puma. Actually, the snipers are exposed. He's going for both of them. He will cop a Faust from the Grens, however, but will he wipe these snipers? Calling in a strafe on the pack. Puma as well taking a fair bit of damage. He gets the rear armor ripping through it, but he couldn't go for the killing blow on these snipers because of that Panzer Faust.
I almost would have just gone base for it, and like when the snipers stop retreating, they're going to be bunched up right at the base, because he's going to have a really hard time saving this Stewart. The pack's already looking at it. Puma's closing in for the kill.
Yeah, I didn't have vision for it now.
Repairs.
Oh, the Grens actually gave vision for the pack, and the pack missed its shot. Puma's going in as well here, but the Sherman's on its way. Another Faust comes through. Even Grens are here with their Shreks. This could be the dead Stewart. As long as they both connect. Yeah, out of control. There goes the Stewart. It looks like the M19s actually will decrew this pack. If they do, the Sherman's going to have complete free reign. Not able to just yet, but all it takes is a single HE burst and that pack will go down. The Puma's too low. It can't join the fight against this Sherman.
Yeah, I think he should have just sent the Stewart all the way into base. Even if he killed one sniper, it would help him out a little bit. The sniper's just putting so much bleed on him. 11 kills and 33 kills, so 44 total kills in 17 minutes. That's just brutal for USF to deal with.
So the Stewart just didn't have an impact, did it?
No, I don't think it did. I think it would have been a really good call if he was having trouble with like 222s or maybe a Flammenwerfer or something like that. But when your opponent has no light vehicles and you already have 2, I don't really know what the Stewart's going to do that your M20 or M15 aren't already doing.
Yeah, and right now we have Shadowwada at 10 command points, but only 7 in fuel. If he didn't go for that Stewart, he would now have his Calliope and his Sherman. He'd be in a great spot. Still, he's going to have it pretty soon, so not the end of the world. But Shadowwada's quite a fair bit behind it as far as squads go. There's a lot more for Paul. He has the 2 snipers, one of which is Vet 3 already as well. So Shadowwada had a massive lead in the early game, but he hasn't quite capitalized it now. And I think it was mainly because of the Stewart, especially now because he lost the Stewart.
Game froze up for a second there. I think we're good to go there.
Yeah, I think that's because my game froze up and we're synced.
Okay, gotcha. So this pack Howie hasn't really done much either, unfortunately. It's still on 0 kill. Command P4 is here. So Paul's really, I think, starting to pull away with the game. Shadow's probably going to need to grab an AT gun, although he's going for another pack Howie. But a Command P4 plus Puma might be a little bit difficult for Shadow's current composition to deal with, especially since he lost his captain.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to actually kill this P4 and the Puma with just a Sherman. That's really all he has as far as AT, apart from the M15 if you include that against the Puma. However, these Grens will be a bit easier pickings. Oh, almost gets that wipe there. So I think Shadowwada's going to have to rely on this Calliope to wipe these packs. Well, there's only a pack currently. There'll probably be a second pack later on. And then if the packs are wiped, even like the P-Grens, then Shadowwada can go for a Jackson.
Against the Command P4, I'd almost just go like another HE Sherman, I think. Because I mean, the Jackson will deal with it, but so will the HE Sherman. He does pick up an AT gun. He canceled his pack high for the AT gun, so that's a really, really good call.
Okay, I'm just going to pause the game quickly. We have someone saying that CS is quite loud. Is this true? Can you...
Loud or low?
Low, like, sorry, low I meant, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'll reduce the game sounds a little bit. Maybe if you boost your mic a little bit. I did ask for more feedback earlier. So that would be good if more people can confirm that CS needs to louden himself. Yeah, we'll keep going for now, at least while we're waiting for feedback. Either way, so CS is too low. Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry, low. I said loud, but I meant low.
Okay.
He's not loud. Yeah, that's what I meant. So I was...
My mic's on life support.
It's a little low. Okay, so can you boost yourself up?
Turn me up or okay? I'll
you do it because minimizing ends horribly sometimes. Actually, speaking of ending horribly, this pack howitzer ended horribly, and that's because of the sniper. I feel like this pack howitzer, it should have been more on the right side, so then it can take cover behind that house. The snipers won't have their vision. It's going to be a bit harder to use it that far away, but it'll be so much safer. And now the pack howitzer's been decrewed. We have the AT gun decrewed as well. Pigrin's in the house, going to be able to deny that M15. Even the Puma's going in with a pack to try and kill this AA half-track. Does get taken out by the pack. Oh, Shadowwada, what a massive swing.
So I just turned myself up. I think I missed the big, huge, amazing...
Yeah, you did.
Push, but am I louder? I hope I'm not too loud now.
Doesn't really sound that much different, to be honest. At least from my end.
Okay. Well, let's see. We'll see what the chat says. But right now might be a pretty good time to do mic testing stuff anyway. With Shadow does call in his Calliope. I don't know if the Calliope is overpowered enough to bring Shadow back from something like this. He's just lost so much. He lost his captain. He lost his LT. He lost his rear echelons. He just lost the entire map too as well. Lost his vehicles. He just has what, a Sherman left, a few squads of infantry, and the Calliope.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. Shadowwada, he just keeps making the same mistakes. He went this 3 light vehicle build, and it just didn't pay off. And yeah, the Calliope's now on the field, so it still isn't over just yet. But it's going to be a lot harder to actually use it, especially with Paul now getting some decent fuel. You can pull out a Stug, maybe even a second one, and just try and hunt down that Calliope. But Shadow only has 2 squads, so like even if he gets wipes, he's going to have to wipe like 7 squads to actually even things up. And now Paul has the pack howitzer, and it's such a strong spot as the south because you have that hedge blocking it off.
I think I turned up the wrong mic. Hopefully this is better now. I had my webcam mic and then my other mic.
Right.
I thought I had disabled my webcam mic like a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
But somehow it got re-enabled, so hopefully I'm not bleeding your ears, am I?
No, my ears are relatively unbleeded. Unlike the VPs of Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
He did get down to 277, so if Shadow can win game 2 pretty convincingly, then he might have faction pick going into game 3.
Yeah, okay, so I can just boost you on my end via Skype, but I'll do that after the game because, yeah, minimizing... And we had some problems earlier where, like, for some reason... It doesn't always do it, but when I have XSplit open, the broadcasting software, it seems to take like 15 seconds to actually swap, which then has this big black screen. Calliope barrage on the snipers won't quite connect, however. Snipers do back away from that one. And the pack house is returning some shells on the side. Has to be careful with this pack house, so they can get wiped pretty easily by that Calliope. And so Shadowwada doesn't really have any fuel at the moment, so is there a long way off for a Jackson if he wants to go for one against this Command P4? And the Puma as well. It's getting a bit of veterancy, so it's going to have a pretty good time against that Sherman with the vet and also the command buff. Is this P4 going in for the ambo? There isn't even an ambo left, though. It's already killed, so... Don't really know what he's actually going to achieve with this. He's just taking the rear armor from the AT grenades. He pops the smoke. But he's just going to lose his command P4 for really no reason. However, the pack's going to be returning fire on the Sherman.
I was playing around with the sound.
Yeah, you're still pretty quiet. You're like really quiet now. Okay, I can't hear you at all. This Calliope is actually taking a bit of damage from the pack. And this people actually survived. You there? Yeah, I can't hear you. But I also can't hear any attempts of victory by Shadow. He's really holding on with the Calliope with his P4. Sorry, with his Sherman. But like they're both back to base being repaired. Paul could even go straight for a Panther if he wanted to, because he's just that far ahead now, double fuel connected. Yeah, I'm like super can't hear you at all. I might just like double check that you actually are still in my Skype call or something. Let's find out. Okay, he's in my Skype call still. While I'm here, I'll boost him just a little bit. See as? I'm getting lonely now. Right. Well, I think I'll finish this game off on my own because this game is looking pretty over. So I think we can sort out our issues in between game 1 and game 2 if we need to. Yeah. And now this is kind of like the big black screen that I was talking about while I was minimizing. Alright, so I might just restart Skype. Okay. It's all good. What isn't good, however, is Shadowwada in this base. Wait, I have media player. What did I do? I managed to put my Windows media player on. Man. Everything's going horribly. Okay, that's off. Yeah, I was wondering why the game sound was that loud. Let's call CS again. In the meantime. You there?
Aha!
Yay!
I am back.
Okay, cool. That's good. Well,
so I don't know if I want to blame Skype or myself because I don't know where the issue was, but we're back. Hopefully I'm louder now, maybe?
yeah, you sound good. I did boost you a little bit as
cool.
well. I actually had Skype on like less than it was supposed to be. Either way though, it is all of the past now. Actually, Shadowwada's going for a howitzer carriage.
I kind of actually like that call. Paul doesn't really have anything that can just like run at it and kill it. I mean, I guess the Puma kind of could, but I don't think the Puma would really be successful in that regard.
Yeah.
And it might be able to give some squads. Like its rate of fire is really high, and the AoE is still pretty good. I think it's kind of been an underrated unit.
And the main thing as well is like, what is Shadow's alternative? He's cut off completely, so it's not like he could go for a Sherman or a Jackson if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think a Jackson would be the wrong call. There's a squad of Shreks out there, and there's a pack out there, and with a command tank around, it would take the Jackson a while even just to kill that Puma.
Yeah, Paul is actually going for his tier 4 though, so he wants to get a Panther, in which case Shadowwada will need either an AT gun or a Jackson. It's still going to be a few minutes away, but at the moment at least, Shadowwada doesn't really have much going for him. I mean, he has his Calliope, but yeah, like, can he wipe 10 squads with it? Probably not.
Yeah, it's still on 0 kills actually, so it definitely hasn't been paying off for him like we have seen them pay off in other games.
Yeah, that being said though, I would love to see Paul actually split up his snipers.
Yeah, it'd be pretty easy to see them both die to one barrage. I'd almost shoot the Pigran house. He has the pack howie here, he has repairing piles that they might scatter, and he has the double snipers behind that house. And this barrage is up, I'm pretty sure. Interesting why he hasn't gone for it. That seems like a pretty juicy target with how much stuff is right by that muni point, and those houses by the muni point.
Yeah, actually he did go for the garrison. The Pigrans left quite a while ago. Pack Howitzer takes it. Oh, he actually gets wiped. Took 2 shots from those Calliope rockets. Has wiped that one. Not a huge deal. Wow, look at these riflemen.
2 good shots. So 2 good shots from the Puma on the M9, and actually the P-Gren strikes went down right outside of Shadowwada's base.
Whoa, that P4 just took the shot from that AT gun. The Puma's actually survived. Rear armor exposed on the Sherman. The command P4 is going for it. He may even just kill the howitzer carriage. Has a smoke available as well. Kills the P4 from the Puma. Abandoned is the Puma now, but that's going to be all she wrote for Shadowwada. He's got his command P4 in his base. The AT gun gets circled all day. Even if he snares it, he can't really avoid being strafed around by that P4.
He's running at the snipers. I think he just wants a little bit of a
Yeah, GG
there, and then he calls the GG.
Well, I think we already summed it up. It's just, if Shadowwada just rushed out his tier 4 rather than going for a Stewart, like maybe his thought process was that he just cannot build any more infantry against the snipers because they were bleeding him so hard. But he didn't have to like close the game with a Stewart. He could have just held on to that fuel point of Paul, held on to his own fuel, and just had the massive fuel lead, and then just led to fast Sherman, fast Calliope, maybe even like a second Calliope rather than a Jackson because he would have been really far ahead.
Another option might have been is picking up another M20 so that you run in at the snipers with your first M20, bait the Faust, but back off, and then just have the other M20 like drive through, assuming you like pop smoke and then repair yourself. Have the other M20 like right on the heels of it to come in when the Faust isn't ready and just chase the snipers all the way back to base just to try to wipe them.
Because M20 is a 20 fuel, so it's not really delaying your tech anywhere near what a Stewart is. And if you're using it, like as you're saying, you wouldn't really need armored skirts. You're just going in for a sniper, in which case you're probably going to lose it anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, the goal would be trade the M20 for the double snipers.
Or at
you're
least one of
already
them.
way ahead in tech. And then...
That's a good idea. If you did that even with LT tech, went the second M20 and then just... and that's a second bazooka as well. So then again, he could put an echelon or a major, and then have like those two Shreks, which would give him so much AT against the Puma.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, swap out the M20 crew with your REs or with the most useless thing, which is the major. Just put the major in there and say, "Oh, see ya, bro."
Yeah, but then you can't use the major barrage, Kappa.
Oh yeah, darn. What a shame.
Have you played Mirage's competitive mod? Like, he buffed the major barrage like crazy amounts. It's really fun. It's like 60 munitions and it fires 6 shells. It's pretty good.
Dang. I haven't used USF in there yet. I've just been having too much fun with his penals, with the PPSHs.
Oh, yeah. How good are they?
They're so OP, dude.
Yeah, shout out to Mirage Flyer. That mod is awesome. People should check it out. I played a couple of games against Mirage, so like, I didn't really get an idea of like the entire changes, but like it's pretty cool. All right, we're going to return with our second game. It should already be underway, so we shouldn't have much of delay at all. So stay tuned, folks. Game number 2 coming up.
Please subscribe to the General's Gentleman. If you enjoy our content, you can support us at patreon.com/General's Gentleman.